We've been in Luke 7 for a little bit, a couple of weeks. Specifically, when Simon the Pharisee invites Jesus over to eat dinner, or to just eat with him. It says in verse 36 that one of the Pharisees asked him to eat with him, and he went to the Pharisee's house. Jesus went to the Pharisee's house and sat down to eat. And behold, a woman in the city who was a sinner, when she knew that Jesus sat at the table in the Pharisee's house, brought an alabaster flask of fragrant oil and stood at his feet behind him weeping. This is interesting because when they sat down, they were almost in like a laying position. So he was probably laying facing the table, or sitting in a way where his feet were away from him and they were facing the table, and she came from behind him and sat at his feet. But what I find interesting is this, that Simon saw this and he thought to himself, if Jesus was really a prophet, he would know that this woman is a sinner, and he wouldn't even let her touch his feet. And I love how Jesus answered him with the parable of the debtors. You know, two people have been relieved of their debt. Who would be more joyful about their debt being removed? The one who owed more, or the one who owed less? And Jesus says it is the same with our sins. Is when we understand that we've been forgiven much, we will love much. But if we don't think that we've been forgiven much, then we won't love much. And he's really saying that if you think that you're a good person without Jesus, then there's a level of love that you won't get to. But when you think that you are a wretched person without Jesus, then we love him much because we have been forgiven much. And it's beautiful here, and how Jesus defends this woman who just worships him. But what I really see out of this story is that Simon the Pharisee, the one who thought he was a good person, knew of Jesus and wanted to be in the presence of Jesus. So he invited Jesus to his house. But Jesus says that, Simon, you didn't even give me the customary greeting. You didn't anoint my head. You didn't even offer to wash my feet. But this woman is doing this thing. This woman is doing the things that you wouldn't do. And it really brought something to mind, and this is it, that there are people today, there are Christians, there are people today who want to be in the presence of Jesus, but they don't want to sit at his feet. Everything is at the feet of Jesus, because this is humility. We have to fall here in humility and saying, Lord, I want to be in your presence. Let me worship you. I feel like sometimes that as Christians, we invite Jesus over. We want to be in the presence of Jesus. We want to see Jesus. But I'm seeing more and more that there's a lot of people who want to see the face of Jesus, but they do not want to get to the feet of Jesus. And I believe that being at the feet of Jesus is where he lifts us up so that we can see him face to face. I believe that there's humility that we must enter in. We humbly enter into the throne room, humbly and boldly. As she busted into the house of Simon, she came in boldly to sit at his feet and worship him. Be the one who is giving everything just to be at his feet. What's the Lord been putting on your heart lately?
Having a daughter. I always said I wanted God to name our child, 'cause it's hard to come up with a name for your kid. So Gia and I, like, a name came to me, Isabella, and we were like, all right, we'll kind of think about it. And then the confirmation came when we had family lunch, and on Easter Sunday, and my mom was over, and just we were like in the middle of conversation. We didn't tell anyone the name that like kind of came to us, and she just completely out of the blue, she was like, oh, well, if you guys have a girl, you can name her Isabella. And my jaw dropped. I was like, I guess that's it.
I think the ability as we get older, especially for me, and we understand the brevity of life, and moments like this, being out here on the water, and being able to have this fresh air in your lungs, and realizing how God has blessed a lot of us. And when you start understanding life and the vapor of it, you become more empathetic, more compassionate towards people. And you want to have those experiences with people where they get to feel that love and the love of the Father. And that has been my heart, for people to experience that, because we all know that we're always going through something. We always have these difficulties and trials and troubles, but we also know that the Father loves us dearly, and to experience that love and that warmth and that peace, kind of like this right here, you know, and just be able to have rest and to share that love, and people can go and have that rest, is what I've been yearning to do, and I'm thankful for those opportunities. They're very sweet and they're tender. So being aware of that is the key. And I think, again, as I've gotten older, I've noticed that, you know, life, I'm already 31 years old. That seems young, but I'm well on my way, you know. And loving people, man, and living intentional is what's been on my spirit every day. Live intentional. And if I can love Jesus more today than I did yesterday, that is not a wasted day.
Having fun? What are you doing? What are you doing? What's been your favorite part about today?
Driving it.
Driving the boat?
If you're asking yourself, what can I do to help this ministry? How can I be involved with Visible Jesus? What would it look like for me? We have 3 ways that we would love for you to help. One is subscribe to our YouTube channel. Please subscribe. It helps us out tremendously just in our YouTube channel. We're trying to build it up and all that fun stuff. 2 is a Patreon. We have a Patreon account, which means you can be a patron of Visible Jesus and sign up for $1 a month, $2 a month, $3 a month, $1,000 a month, whatever it is that you want to do. And what this Patreon account does, it actually helps us create more videos. It gives us more resources to constantly be creating. So if you like the videos, if you want to see more, please subscribe to our Patreon. And 3 is becoming a vision partner. You can sign up at visiblejesus.org and partner with us. Make a monthly donation, and this really pushes the ministry. This helps us get to the places that we know the Lord is calling us to, and we know that He has given you the ability to help us out. So if any of this rings in your ears, in your hearts, and you want to do this, either one of them is fine. If you want to do all 3, that is glorious. I'll put a link in the description for all of them. So thank you guys so much for watching.